godlings. I guess you wonder where I've been. This keeps ringing in my ear, my inner ear this morning. My education is in 1 degree in psychology and another in interdisciplinary natural sciences with a marine systems ecology emphasis. And since I moved to the new digs a little over a year ago, I've set up the marine aquarium. It's been up about a year now, and I've very cavalierly handled a purple condylactus anemone. He looked like this. I hope you can see that. I don't know if you can because of reflections. Yeah, look like that. I still have him. He's in another aquarium. I had gotten some beautiful new little fish coming in, one of them a juvie, coral beauty, and I just love that species, and she was gorgeous. I mean, gorgeous. And I was worried about this anemone stinging her because he's quite large and the hottest anemone I have ever handled. And I have many times in my life extinguished temporarily all of the stinging cells on conduit, as they're called in aquarium trade, conduit anemones, by running my hand over their crown of tentacles so that they fired off all of their little stinging cells into the palm of my hand, which is quite thick, the skin here, and normally it does no harm. But conduit tentacles, if you're not careful, can get you on the soft sides of your fingers and the tops of your fingers and the back of your hand. And if there's an open cut in your fingers of any sort, they'll get you in the open cut. And that is indeed what happened to me. I had an open wound there and a smaller open wound there. I don't know if you can see what's going on there. But the anemone, let's see if I can get that up there. Yeah, the anemone got me in a small open cut there, and a small open cut, let's see if I can get that where you can see it. A small open cut there. And it turned everything very swollen with a lot of deep purple coloration, very much like the anemone. All over the palm of my hand, and it was running up my arm, and then it ran across the arm this way and started running up the inside of my arm, and in like 4 hours it went from here all the way up to here, which put me in the hospital. This is the most recent outline of the inflammation and the damage. That happened last Thursday. Today is the 9th. The sting happened on the 30th, my sister's birthday. And it's the 9th, and I went to the hospital 2 days later, would have been the 2nd of July. Anyway, I was very ill. I was put on a really, really strong antibiotic, which made me sicker. They gave me a tetanus booster. Not a great idea when your immune system is already under a lot of assault, and so the tetanus booster remained sore. It's just today, not essentially sore. Anyway, so I've been very unwell and weak, and even now I'm on antibiotics that preclude me going into the sun for very much time at all. And my appetite's been destroyed, and I'm losing weight, and I'm glad about that, but I'm not happy about the destroyed appetite. Anyway, so I just wanted to bring you up to date on that. I am recovering now. This is ever so much better than it was. Most of the inflammation is now right here, and it has a bruised feeling, and in fact I can't even see inflammation there this morning. That's great news. Finger is still, come on camera, finger is still inflamed a little bit on that side, but it's getting better. It's all getting better finally, and that's great because I had cellulitis. So I'll never be that cavalier about handling anemones again. The anemone in question is in my refugee tank with another condi anemone, and there remains 2 condis small in the display tank behind me, and I have blocked off the openings into the rock where a little fish could swim straight through and into the arms of another predator. After all of that I went through to save that particular fish 4 days ago, I wakened to find her dead in the arms of that very purple condylactus. Heartbreaking. I love all the living things, almost all of them, but I particularly love coral beauty angelfish and the little babies, and it really hurt me. I've had a lot of older animals, pets, dear friends of mine. My little parrotlet, he passed away very suddenly, but he was 18 years old. He was pleasuring himself on his favorite perch, chirping away merrily, and boonk, fell right over. I don't believe in doing what people call grieving, but I did grieve for a day over Tattoo Chicken Man, and I grieved because it was so sudden. I've been dead, so I'm not at all bothered by the idea of death. I know that I cannot be apart from what I am forever by love made a part of. So I have noticed as well that grief, what we call grief, feels just like love until I notice that the thing I love is missing, and then I label it loss and grief. But it feels like love searching for its target, right? It's just love, though, until we label it. Now, this is what was revealed to me, in fact, in my NDE. The thing I had been doing that was making me miserable is the thing we are all doing that makes us all miserable. Is that because society tells us you should be grief-stricken, you should be angry, you should be offended. Okay, society trains us to believe these things, and they are not true. They're not true at all. They are beliefs. In the middle of the word belief is the word L-I-E. Okay? You need not be angry. You need not be offended. You need not be aggrieved. You need not feel what we call grief, because grief is not real until you label the love for which you cannot find its target grief. You label it loss, and then you feel like you have been deprived of something important to you. But you cannot be deprived of what matters deeply, what you love deeply. You are part of it. There is only one consciousness, like a light shattered in a hall of mirrors, and we are each the mirrors. We are the shards, the facets in a crystalline goblet that holds, that catches and reflects the light in which we are all one. The matter itself of our bodies makes us appear to be separate, the shard of glass. Okay? So, having been dead once, while I was dead, I had this revelation that it is what we call a thing that creates our experience thereof. This is really important to your day-to-day experience. It allows you to really settle into the emotion you're feeling rather than the label society taught you to attach thereto. Grief feels exactly like love until you label the love as something lost. You cannot lose what you love. It is not possible. You are joined eternally there too. Okay? So, when you examine lucidly, when you examine in your growing lucidity, what you're actually feeling, and you go, is this grief? Oh, it's really love. It feels just like love. It feels like incredible gratitude for the effect that other being presents in my life. That's love. It's gratitude. It's a deep feeling of gratitude for the effect that person has in your life. Okay? Even if they're no longer part of your day-to-day life because their body fell off or you're just not talking anymore, you can still feel the love if you choose to use your attention lucidly as consciousness itself. Place your attention by your will on the love rather than loss. They are two sides of the same coin in this dual place, where the theme is that we can appear to be separate from what we love. It's the hall of mirrors, the one light reflected in all, and the mirrors take themselves to be separate. But we're not. We're united in that light bouncing between us. So it's easier actually to love some people from afar, and believe me, it's much preferable to hating them. Hating them has negative consequences for the hater, much more so than the hatee. Okay? The person you're hating does not suffer with your hate. Not forgiving someone, not, when I say forgiving, I mean releasing them from any idea that you need to make them change or they should be different. They just are as they are. You're releasing that. Okay? When you forgive that incongruity a person is showing you between what you will and what you have, what the world you will to see should be full of, love, kindness, etc., and the world you have, we're bombing and raping and plundering, stealing land. When those kind of images conflict, you use your attention to stay focused in the love. Stay focused in the love when the ones that you love appear to be gone from your experience. They're not. You just don't use your proper facilities, your sensory modalities properly in order to still experience them. There is no place but here. There is only one here now. Everything is happening inside consciousness in a dream, in many, many, many dreams that consciousness is engaged in. And that's all an interior process. There is no world out there. We've discussed this in other videos. Please check them out, because what I'm describing to you here is a very cohesive picture that will give you your own liberation from suffering by transcending the labels, the things you say to yourself that actually create the suffering. Because it's not some world that appears to be outside you. It is your inner labeling that determines your experience. It is never what appears to be happening that upsets you. It is always the story you tell yourself about it that upsets you. Okay? So, use your attention to focus on the label that is, first focus it into the emotion and really interrogate the emotion. Really be honest with yourself. You can't grow without total honesty with yourself. Interrogate the emotion. Find out exactly, put it into words what that emotion is saying to you. And immediately, once you get it, you're going to know you've got it. If you're not sure you've got it, you haven't gotten it yet, keep distilling it. But the moment you feel that click, yes, that is what I'm saying to myself, you'll recognize it. You'll have the aha moment, which I like to call the recognitive instant. This is gnosis. And that is what recognizing what you truly are is like. Because you're not the labels, you're not the stories. You're not your body. You're not even your mind that attacks your peace. You are the consciousness in which all of that occurs. And by using your attention like a flashlight in the dark room of your being, you can decide what experience you're going to have. By acting as the architect of the stories you tell yourself, you become the god of all your own reckonings. You are in charge of them and none other. Don't let society and other people tell you how you should feel. They're all miserable, which is clear indication that they haven't a clue about what they're doing and how to use the power of their godly estate. This is what we're all doing that is making us miserable. We label unconsciously. That's the important part. If you were lucid, you would not be unconscious. You would be aware that you are consciousness itself, and you'd be aware of yourself while you are watching the self-talk go in your head that's creating this inner subjective experience that you have. In that lucid practice, and we call it the practice of interrogating our emotions and the self-talk hidden therein, if you keep doing that practice, you will regularly see the thing you're saying to yourself is a lie. It is often not at all true. Sometimes it's partially true. Rarely, it's never actually wholly true. It is not wholly perception. It is not true from everyone's perspective. Therefore, it is not truth at all. A true thing is true always. One instance of its untrueness makes it not true. And the more you look at the things you have thought are true and check the many instances and points of view from which they are not true, you realize you believe and have been conditioned to believe a lot of BS that is running as unconscious mental tapes. Your mind is a model full of these inferences and statements about what is true and what is not, and how you should feel. And it's mostly entirely bogus. The important thing to realize, though, is that the mind is not you, because you can observe it. You can observe the emotions. They are not you. You can observe your body. They are not you. You can observe your history, the story you tell yourself, and know that they are not real. Real is eternal. You are real. You are eternal. You are in fact changeless. You are consciousness itself. And the more conscious you are of that, the more lucid you are. Lucidity is recursive awareness of metacognition. So you're observing as a practice what you're saying to yourself. That's called metacognition. And you're aware while you're observing it. You're saying, here I am doing the practice again. I am observing what I'm saying to myself in these emotions. That's lucidity. It's a practice. You maintain it. And every time you see something you've been saying to yourself is a lie, something that's been making you suffer, the moment you witness that in lucidity, the emotion dissipates. It loses all its power back to you, consciousness, because your belief, your mistaken, misplaced faith in that belief that bit of life, that bit of self-talk someone else taught you, only came from you. It got all its power over you from you. Poof! It is rendered powerless. The emotion dissipates. The power that you gave it to affect you comes back to you. You will feel this. It is an experience of growing intensity of your own lucidity, a growing intensity of your awareness of yourself as sovereign architect. The more you feed the observer that interrogates the self-talk, interrogates the emotion, the more you feed that observer mode, the more it grows to trigger the chooser mode. The chooser mode is lucidity brightening, lucidity aware of its own lucidity, lucidity choosing what it does with the flashlight of its attention in the dark room of the eternal. Where does it point it? If you have all your hopes and dreams over here and all your disappointments over there, does it make any sense to focus on the stuff over there that's going to make you unhappy? To change your experience for the worse? To make you less effective in the world at creating what you want? Or does it make more sense to shine the light of your attention on what makes you empowered, strong, resilient, looking forward to opportunities to serve, to make the world a better place? So I encourage you, please, to work this practice. It is absolutely foundational to your escape from all of the illusions that have been programmed into you that make you miserable so often. It is absolutely the transformative thing. And I want to talk to you about another thing. Everybody is sending you off here for manifesting, there for manifesting, law of attraction, all of that, right? It's none of it is of any consequence. Yeshua Christ told us, seek ye first the kingdom of God. That's you, consciousness itself, conscious of itself. This is where you are sovereign. Seek that. And once you're centered in that, everything begins to naturally change, because that consciousness itself, conscious of itself, is the I am. I am. Your mind will stop tormenting. You'll lay down in bed at night and be able to enjoy the inner vastness, the complete silence, complete peace, filled with gentle, rising love and gratitude for that experience, and a slowly growing uncaused joy, like you're awakening from a dispiriting nightmare to the truth about what you are. And that's exactly what's happening. You're slowly awakening. Do not focus on all of the dither. Stop paying gurus for thousands and thousands of dollars. There is only one thing that matters. Yeshua said that as well. There is only one thing that is needed, and all of this suffering will stop. The one thing that is needed is our lucidity in the dream of the world. Only the lucid dreamer can change the dream. But you can't keep putting it off, because you have to be in the dream to change it with your lucidity. And if you wait and wait and wait, following all this stuff that's designed in society to keep you distracted, and you wait and you never find your lucidity until close to the end, you don't have much time left in the dream to change it, because the body will eventually fall off. Thanks be to God. Okay? I will not come back here. I've made that mistake one too many times. So please focus on what really works. You want sustenance. You are the I am. You are sustenance. You want abundance. You are the I am. You made all of this. You are abundance. But until you are centered as the lucid consciousness itself, you're still being influenced by the belief system you were fed that says scarcity is a thing and you'd better handle it. All right? There are no problems, there are opportunities. Every instance when you begin to suffer, for instance, is an invitation to pay attention and realize you're suffering. Therefore, you have lost your lucidity. You have come to identify as this character in the dream of the world, having a very unhappy time. So if you use suffering itself, any sort of insufficiency as an opportunity to make you lucid every damn time something seems to be going wrong. It's an opportunity. It is a door to becoming more lucid. It should waken you. Lucid dreaming practice says that you create a token in a lucid dream. You will become lucid and make it a lucid dream when this token is observed. When this token occurrence is observed, you'll go, aha, oh, I'm dreaming. Okay, for me, it's in sleeping dreams, it's flying or seeing someone else fly. I go, oh, right. Okay? In this life, this dream, for me, it is unhappiness, suffering. Now, I recently was very sick. I did not suffer. My body was sick. I did not suffer. And I'm still going through Percocet withdrawals. I'm at day 70, post-Percocet cessation. That's normally a lot of dready chemistry going on in your body. So even though I got that going on, and then I got this envenomation that looked really, really scary, I did not suffer. Because suffering is a layer of self-talk generated emotion that we pile on top of a present situation. Suffering is a layer of self-talk and emotion that we pile on top of situations. Or not. You, consciousness, if you are lucid, observing yourself, observing the dream of the world, have the ability and the empowerment to not layer that, not layer the story, not layer it on top of the situation and create suffering. This was what my NDE was given to me to show me that I was doing. Now, I got a lot of other information too, because in order to make me understand that, I had to, how do I say this, ascend in my frequency and in my context to where I knew myself across worlds and across iterations. It's like, you wake up in a higher level and you understand that you have associations, projects, reputation, tendencies on that level. And I remembered a lot of that. But that was not the point of the NDE, although that lesson about not layering situations with unhelpful self-talk would not have been understood without some of the context, at least, that I came back with. And there's a lot of really fruitful insights in that context, that greater context of existence that I try to give you all. This world is a dream. All worlds are dreams. All worlds. This has astounding ramifications, all right? But none of it about our empowerment and our ability to enjoy, of which a manifestation, which I have described elsewhere, is a portal into enjoyment of our godly estate in actual world building. Okay, but none of that is accessible until you are lucid. Okay, I don't call myself a teacher because we all teach. We all do. Most often we teach best what we most need to learn. especially when we're teaching unconsciously and other people are picking it up. Okay? Everyone is a teacher. Not all teachers are helpers. Despite perhaps their best intentions, they teach disempowerment. They teach others to rely on them as gurus. They teach others to respect them and regard their experience over the follower's individual experience. I don't do that. I want to empower you. I want you to get this lucidity so you don't need me. Okay? You'll experience this for yourself. Now, some people who are spiritual teachers say things like, I healed myself. Okay, well, there's nobody here but you to heal yourself. And they say, I'm a master because I was able to do that. Okay, well, we're all masters. We're just latent masters. And people like to make it sound like becoming a master is a difficult thing. It's not. A master simply recognizes what they are. You are the great I am. And then all the powers of the great I am, you are now open to them. You're not excluding them. And as you find every life in which you've been excluding yourself, that power, you haven't been accepting it. You've been saying, I'm unworthy, I'm so small, I'm so insignificant. All these things you say to yourself that have blocked the access to your I am, you have one by one done the work of finding them, interrogating the emotions and the self-talk and identifying where you're shooting yourself in the foot and disempowering yourself. Okay? So you are the master. You're just sleeping in a dream of your disempowerment. You're sleeping, in fact, in a dream of being hostage to your own creations, which cannot happen. Okay? So, I raised myself from the dead, literally. It is not difficult to do at the moment you realize this world is just a dream. If you have ever wakened from your sleeping dreams in your bed, and oh, I didn't want to wake from that dream, it's a wonderful dream, as long as you don't stare at some light or something like that to switch off the sleeping parts of your brain, as long as you don't do that and you focus your attention, it's always attention, you focus your attention on the last moment that you can recall vividly in that dream, and then you tunnel with your attention and your will back into the dream. Now, Michael, my higher self, had been teaching me to lucid dream and to go back into dreams that I awakened from and wanted to go back into for a long time. All right? And when I died at the age of 20, there he was. And when I said to him after his life review with me and his helping me with what I was doing wrong, labeling in such a way that I piled suffering on top of existing circumstances when that wasn't necessary. As soon as he showed me that, I realized I had to come back and tell you all. It's such a simple thing, and the whole spiritual industry keeps you looking out there and there and there and there and there. No, the way out is in. You are the portal. You consciousness interrogating your self-talk, taking a sovereign mastery over your experience. That is what you do. That is your door out of suffering. That allows you to access the power of the I am, which you are. Okay? So there's a lot of keeping you distracted out there because actually, factually, the thing you need is constantly present. And it is so simple. It is right in front of your face. The occult, the only secret, the hidden secret, the only secret is there is no secret. There's no secret. In fact, this is so present, so right in front of your face that you have to be bombarded constantly with look over here, look over there, look over, look. And this keeps you from noticing yourself, the looker. Notice yourself in every instant. Notice the present, still consciousness regarding it all impassively. When I saw that this capacity developed, this lucidity in the dream of the world, could end all suffering, I determined to return. I won't make that mistake again. I don't want you to either. Unless you really want to. I asked Michael, how do I get back into the world? It's just a dream. The world had revealed itself a dream when my body fell off, and I was fine. And suddenly I was in the Lustrous Vast, and I was perfect. I was so perfect. And I realized the world is just a dream. It has no effect over me. My reality springs from higher levels. The world was revealed a dream. So after I had the life review and I determined to return, I asked Michael, but it's just a dream. How do I get back in it to tell everyone? How do I get back in it to tell everyone they're sleeping so I can make them lucid so together we can take control of the dream? How do I tell them? How do I do it? How do I get back in? And he said, you do it exactly the way I taught you to do it when going back into dreams, sleeping dreams, that you'd awaken from at a moment you didn't want to awaken. You focus all of your attention on the last moment that you can recall. And then you tunnel back into the experience by going deeper and deeper into it. Just focusing deeper and deeper and deeper. And I did it. But there was one other thing he said to me in that very context of how do I do it. He said, you can go back into the time stream anywhere you like. You can go way into your past, pick it up there and live it again, live it differently if you choose, if you can remember, if you're lucid. You can go back into the moment before the horse killed you and avoid the accident altogether if you're lucid. You can cross realm boundaries between worlds if you're lucid. You have to carry the continuity of identity and purpose in your awareness as you cross the realm barrier. We've all walked from one room into another and forgotten why we went into the second room from the first room. Had to turn around and go back to the first room to recall why we went into the second room. And then we have to carry the memory of why we're going back into the second room. We have to carry that in attention, in our awareness, being held with our attention there. All right? Paper clips, paper clips, paper clips, paper clips. I'm going in here, the second room, to get paper clips. Like that. That's how you cross a realm boundary and maintain continuity of identity so you don't fall out of lucidity into identification with the character you're playing in that dream of the world. That is a very powerful piece of information. You can't access any of these powers without the one thing that is necessary. The great I am that you are. And you have to be aware of that being what you are. That is lucidity. Okay? So he said to me, the problem that you'll encounter since you want to return this information to the world is if you go back into the moment before the horse killed you and avoid being killed, you have now created a new time stream, a new instance of your experience in that venue. And in that instance, because you never came here to the Lustrous Vast, you won't have access to any memory of what has happened here. Because you're not lucid enough yet to carry that memory across the realm boundary. You're not lucid enough yet to paperclip, 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 all the way back into that venue. Teach lucidity, teach lucidity, teach lucidity, all the way back into that venue where it's a new time stream. You will lose the further you focus your attention into this new experience where the horse doesn't kick you. You will lose more and more of the context of who the greater being that you are in other greater venues. You will lose that as a part of your focusing into the character you're playing in that smaller venue, that nested venue. Reality is nested like Russian dolls. Consciousness with realms nested. And this is a very low vibration frequency realm. So he said, if you want to tell everyone, you must go back into the time stream in which you suffered this experience, in which you were kicked in the face by a horse and knocked from the back of the running horse. You were astride, chasing the horse that kicked you. If you want to keep this memory because it's part of that time stream and loop back into physical reality, carrying the memory from here, you have to go back into the version of physical reality in which the accident occurred, because that accident is what allowed you to get this information. In other words, if you go into another time stream where the accident does not occur, this information is not going to be accessible within that time stream. You can carry it across if you can maintain your lucidity, you being the wild card, because you're carrying it in memory into a time stream in which it did not factually occur. Okay, so you're crossing the wake, the realm barrier between two time streams, thinking paperclips, paperclips, paperclips. I hope you take the metaphor. Lucidity. I must teach people to be lucid. Must give them this skill. It is all you need. The more lucid you become, the more of the natural power of your I am being gets translated into your world experience. Only a lucid dreamer can change the dream. I raised myself from the dead, which means I just focused my attention back into the last moment of the dream and put myself back in the dream. I recentered my awareness in the time stream. That's all there is to crossing barriers like that. Okay. I think I've rambled on long enough. Thank you so much for being here. I love you all. I would not have come back here if I wasn't full of love for every one of us and for this venue, all the animals which are sentient beings with consciousness housed within. All our brothers and sisters. Thank you again. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. Please like and subscribe. Please share the video. The more we share this, the more people are going to go free. And the faster we, that great I am that we all are going to put out the little lie that we are not. Bye for now.